Welcome to Parent Coaches Unleashed, the podcast where we dive into the highs, lows, and did that really just happen moment of parenting teens and young adults. We're Carrie and Jessica, parent coaches, mythbusters, and occasional referees in the battle of hormones versus common sense.
If you've ever wondered, is this just happening to me? You're not alone. We are here to help you with real talk, expert advice, and hopefully a few laughs along the way. Need more support? We also offer private coaching, workshops, and speaking engagements because sometimes even parents don't have all the answers.
So continue listening as we tackle this parenting journey together.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our latest edition of Parent Coaches Unleashed. I'm here with Carrie. Hi, Carrie.
Hey there, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am great. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about, college.
Oh, college. So May 1st is quickly approaching. For those who have kids that have gone through the process or are in the middle of it, know that decisions must be made by May 1st. So we're here to talk about it. What goes into those decisions? How, as parents, can we best support our children through their decision-making process? Now, Carrie, I know you've had some clients, as well I have had them also, who have been dealing with this topic of conversation in their house for quite some time now. Do you want to share? You want to start off by sharing what one of your
I
clients
will.
was going through?
I will. But I just want to give my personal opinion here, though, first. Let's be honest. There are a lot of us that do want we just want to tell our child where to go to school. We've listened to them for all of high school, listened to their dreams, and just want to tell them. But as parents, we know with many decisions we make when our children are becoming young adults and independent, we can't. We can't do that anymore. We have to resist the urge to tell them. And I know we have a lot of opinions about it. We have opinions about where we think they should go to school and what would be the best school and maybe where we went to school or what our own experience was in college. But I'm going to share a scenario with one of my clients. Both parents met after college. So the mom and the dad went to different colleges and felt very passionate about their alma maters.
Okay.
And as they raised their children, that's all they talked about.
Each talking about their own.
Talking about their own college and what a great experience and what a great college and such a great college town. And, their dreams were for one of their children to go to their college. So we have decision for their child, and their child does not want to go to either of their colleges.
Okay.
So this is
Did he get accepted to both of them? Were they both on the table?
Yes, they were both on the table.
Okay.
And there were also two other colleges that were on the table. So 4 choices and one
Kudos to that child. I mean, that's not
Yes.
easy in this day and age.
No. And one specifically that the child really wants to go to and is not either of the alma maters, and the parents are really struggling with allowing the child to make their own choice.
So I'm really curious, how did you coach your clients through this?
Well, I let them each talk through, their feelings about it, right? Like, why is it so important that their child go to their college or follow in their footsteps? Like, where is that coming from?
Did it
Understand?
actually have anything to do with the child, or was it all
No,
about what
no.
they wanted?
It was all about what they wanted, and it was all about what they envisioned for their child. And as we know, we have to accept our children for where they're at and start listening more to what they're saying and not just go with this vision we've always had and this picture of what the future might look like. I kind of let them walk through the exercise to talk about it and share their feelings. But in the end, I coached around listening, like, hear what your child is really saying and back off and just allow them the space to make their own choice.
That sounds like a great moment to say also, what I'm hearing you say is
Is
you want them to go there.
And I know it's easy for me to say that my emotions aren't involved. And then you have the part that the parents are paying for college. So should they have a say? Should they have a say in where the child goes because they're paying?
And listen, you can make arguments for both sides of that question. Yes, they should have a say, and no, they shouldn't have a say. My opinion is that you have a say, but your decision is not final.
Yeah.
So,
Well, when we're talking about finances, you know, the conversation about how much the parent can afford or is willing to put towards college should have happened a long time ago. And we
right.
talked about this several episodes ago with
When we had Jen
Jen
McKenzie,
McKenzie. Right,
yes.
right. So when your child is first discussing schools, so junior year, let's just call it, and when you're talking about visiting or where they should apply or that research phase, the conversation about finances should have already been had.
Yes. So, but what happens if your child chooses a school that you don't agree with? And finances were already discussed. It was already approved that we could pay for this school. This is one of the schools that you can go to. But at the end, the parent and the child just cannot agree on where they're going. Does the parent say, well, if you're going there, that's fine. I'm not paying for it. I don't agree with your decision. Or do they say, I don't agree with your decision, but I did agree to pay and here, you know,
Well, I guess it for me it depends on what's the overriding reason. Like, is there a safety issue? Is there like, are they not going to be able to really afford it? Like, what's behind the reason for not wanting your kid to go to a certain school? Like, so for me,
right. So there's more
if it's
factors
yeah,
involved.
right, if it's safety related, um I'd say that as a parent you absolutely have a say, and this is where you need to be the parent
Mhm.
and say no.
Right.
But if it's just you know, your dream changed or your dream isn't going to be what it intended to be of your child's college experience, I think we got to let that go. Right? Like, if it's, "Oh my god, I already thought through, like, they were gonna go to my college or this college, and they were gonna join a sorority, and,
Right,
oh
right.
my god, I was looking forward to mom's weekends," and, all that stuff that's about us,
Right.
and us reliving our college experiences, like, you know, we gotta let that go.
And I
So, Jess, what do you think? What's your opinion? Should parents have the final say?
it's tough. I don't think parents should have the final say. In a perfect world, it would be great if you can come to an agreement for all of the reasons that you have listed and then all of the reasons your child has listed. If it is financial and you have already set those boundaries for your child and your child says, I'll take out loans, as a parent, what's your responsibility? Are you okay letting your child walk away from school with all of these loans? I have a client who the daughter only wanted to go to a top school, okay? her brother was already at this top school, but on a full ride, a completely full scholarship. And the parents said, "You can apply there if you get money, then, you can go." She applied, she got in, but she did not get any money. And she got into a wonderful state school in the honors program. They didn't give her a choice at that point.
Mm,
They told her she had to go to the state school, to the honors program. She was not happy. She was miserable about it. Um, but there was no changing their minds over this decision. They were upfront with their daughter. They said, the only way you're going to the first school is if you get scholarship money, and she didn't. So she ended up at the state school in the honors program. It took her a while, but she's doing well now. But I think every case is an individual case with many factors involved. I think the hardest part for the kids is to see the financial piece of it.
yeah.
It's very hard to say to your child, "I don't want you walking away with a debt." You have no idea what that will be like to come
Mhm,
out of school hundreds of $1,000s in debt.
mhm.
I don't it's an abstract concept to these kids. They have no idea what their job will be after school. They'll have no idea if they'll be able to even make a dent in paying these loans back. Just a figure. It's some number floating out there in space. Okay, so I'll have $200,000 in debt. Okay, not a big deal. I'll pay for it. Like I said, it's a very hard concept for kids to grasp what it means to be paying all that money after school.
Yeah, but I think in your client's situation, they were very clear upfront about what the final decision would be based
Right.
on.
Right.
So it wasn't like the rug was pulled out under her, or they said, because this happens, apply wherever you want, and then we'll see where you get in,
Right, right, right.
and then we'll have those conversations, which then you have now allowed your child to fantasize about all of these different places that they might go,
Right.
and not really setting the boundaries for where the parents and it is a financial burden for people when their kids go to college. It's
Yeah.
huge. I remember when we first had Devin, we were, let's just call it 30 years old, and we met with a financial advisor. And they said at that moment in time, right? So this was 1999, 2000, you will need to save and put away by the time he goes to college $250,000.
That is an insane number.
Okay. So it is huge.
Mhm.
Thankfully, we did Florida prepaid. Then we also did a 529. But if you took the numbers without a Florida prepaid or without an in state tuition, the financial advisor was pretty accurate when we look forward at the years. We're now in,
Right, right, right.
2025, but let's say
Mhm.
the years he went, had been early 2020 to 20. I mean, he's still in college, but um, they were accurate. They were totally accurate. So, I mean, it's huge. Who can afford who can afford
No.
that?
I mean, if you I definitely I follow some financial people on Instagram, and one of the I can't remember who at this moment, but they said the biggest mistake that parents make is not encouraging your kids to go to an in-state school.
Mhm. Right, because it's not just tuition, right? We all know, we're not preaching to anyone who doesn't know out there, right? It's, it's the living expenses, it's possibly the flying expenses, it's sorority and fraternity fees if they join, it might be club fee. I mean,
And if the
then there,
weather changes, it's a whole different
yes,
wardrobe. I mean, that sounds silly, but,
yeah,
winter coats and
mhm,
and
and books
boots
and
and right.
lab fees, and it keeps going on and on. And some of these schools are in areas where rent for apartments is high,
Right.
right? Like Devon is at Florida Atlantic, and Boca Raton has very high
Rents.
rents, and I see it on the parent page. The parents are like, "What?" Like they're coming from, another state, and they're like, "I don't get it. How is this is what rent
This
costs?"
so this was an interesting one talking about cost. Um, the Gators, they just won their basketball
Oh, yes.
championship.
National champions.
So the season football tickets just went on sale, and their prices increased $15 a game for their football tickets
For students?
for students.
Mm. Imagine what they're gonna be for people wanting to just
Right,
purchase the
right, right,
tickets
just a
to go.
regular.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, right, so all of those costs, all of those costs. Alright, so what can we do now to help people who might be sitting in this right now, not knowing how to guide their kids, and maybe future, like, maybe you have juniors in high school, and you're going to have to be having these conversations about making college decisions. Like, what do you think is, like, one of the top 2 pieces of advice we could offer?
Uh, Boundaries. Have clear set boundaries at the beginning of your discussions. I know we're a little late for that because we're coming to decision day, but if you had your boundaries set from the beginning, the decision process hopefully is going to be a little easier for you. And I would say really listening to your child,
Mhm,
listening to their wants and their needs, and coming up with the best decision for as a family moving forward. And if they don't have their first choice, it's also meeting your child with compassion. No, letting them experience that disappointment of
mhm,
not being able to go to the school that they so badly wanted to go to. And I guess the other thing I would say is also your we've heard this statement before too, but your college decision is not a prison sentence.
mhm,
You can always take a year there, see how it's going, and if you're not happy, if they don't have your major, if you really haven't clicked with anyone after all the efforts you've put in, you can always transfer.
and I would add to that if you have more than one child, do not compare them or resist the urge to compare them to their sibling. Like, what choice their sibling made or what you did for that sibling. Like, each child is their own person, and they're different.
Yeah. Mhm.
They're different, and again, do not compare them to their friends
Right.
or to their cousins. Right, each experience is going to be very unique, so try to approach it as an individual situation based on their needs.
I also think your major plays a role in the school that you're going to and the choices that you're making. Not every major or whatever you're passionate about is offered at every school. So that's definitely going to play a factor in your decision as well.
Hmm.
If your child is fortunate enough to know what they want to study.
Yeah. And for those that have already made a decision, celebrate them.
Yep.
They're feeling
You should all be
joy
feeling
right
relief,
now.
right?
They are
It's
just so excited. So, my suggestion is let them celebrate, let them enjoy the rest of their senior year, whatever that looks like. Prom, graduation parties, bed parties, whatever it is, like let them celebrate and they'll figure out the rest. You don't need to start harping on, oh, let's start shopping. Who's your roommate? Let's get this all figured out. Like
Oh my gosh, Carrie, the roommate
they
issue.
will.
That's a whole nother. It's
Although,
like a dating game now.
oh,
Ugh.
you know what? And again, here is my favorite phrase to use in any situation. But when your child comes to you, they're stressed. It's the roommate, this one, that one. I don't know what to do. Or I don't know what building to preference first if you get a choice where you're living. But you will say, I know you will figure it out. I am confident that you will find the solution that works for you. Empower them to figure it out on their own. You do not want to get involved in the roommate selection or trying to match people or trying to help them, because that will turn right around and bite you in the ass when
Mm,
it doesn't work out. You can, stay out of it.
right.
Stay out of it.
Yes. We always had a rule. We had a rule for our kids that they were not able to room with anyone that they knew. That was our one rule. You know, because for that reason, that's
Mhm.
a well, there were a couple of reasons. So the experience of meeting new people, that if it didn't work out, you can be ruining a friendship because the truth of the matter is you don't really know someone until you live with them.
Mhm.
And if your friend is in the same school as you and they have a different roommate, you have twice the opportunity to meet new people because now you're meeting your friends' roommates too.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was our rule.
Love it. All right. Well, we want to wish you all the best of luck as you work through this process of
Yes.
college decisions and embracing the next steps. And as always, thank you so much for listening. And feel free if you have any questions, need any guidance on this topic or others relating to parenting your teens and young adults, feel free to reach out to Jessica or to me. And thank you.
Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Parent Coaches Unleashed with Carrie and Jessica. Together, we can raise the next generation of independent, capable, and compassionate young adults.
We encourage you to send us an email with questions and feedback to info@parentcoachesunleashed.com. Please remember, you are not alone on this parenting journey.